Attenzione, attenzione, because Casele Airport in Torino looks like it's the center of the mercato from the Bianconeri. Some people are leaving. Arthur, some people are arriving. As we speak, Jorge Mendes, the really famous ex-Cristiano Ronaldo agent, just landed in Casele. What do you do when you go in Casele? You take the car and you go to La Continassa to meet Cristiano Giuntoli, ex-agent of Ronaldo. I told you, actual manager of Francisco Conceição. Honestly, I don't believe that he's here to speak about the possible extension of Conceição, but we know that when you're looking in the list, he's also the agent of Antonio Silva, that has been the target for a center-back of Juventus a few weeks ago. We forgot about him also because the insistence of Benfica. We just played against them. Maybe they spoke with each other, Benfica, Juve. Maybe they spoke with the agent Jorge Mendes that is now pushing for the young player to join Juve. We'll speak about that. And also especially Champions League, because actually, this is what I promised you this morning. I come back with a 100% Champions League video. Well, Mercato, Champions League, Mercato. Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel, I hope you're all doing well. Second video of the day, I told you. Look guys, we need to speak about Mercato, but before that, let's speak a bit about our next opponent. I'm happy it's not Milan. Not that PSV is easier or not, but I'm happy it's not Milan. Because if you go out against Milan in the playoff, what a disaster, guys, what a disaster. I already see social media, YouTube, comment section, what a disaster. I don't want to go out against Milan. I already went out against Milan in Supercoppa. One time was already enough. Good, I'm extremely happy. Now, it's PSV. We play now not only one game at home, like we played in that group stage. We play two games, home and away. We start in our home, we play away against them in the next game. We know it's or the 11-12 at home, and then the 18-19 away from home. PSV, in our history, we played against them one time, and it was in the beginning of the season, the first game of this Champions League edition. You all remember that score, 3-1 for Juve. So at the moment, if you're looking at records, it's 1 win, 0 draws, 0 defeats. PSV, that is now coming back in our home, they will all, of course, remember that fantastic, beautiful goal of Kenan Yildiz alla Del Piero, because when we are thinking about Juve PSV, we think about that goal. But don't forget also the goals of Weston McKennie and Nico Gonzalez before that long injury, before coming back, and luckily, he should be there. He should be there back in that game of Champions League, an important one, where we will probably miss some players. But Nico Gonzalez should be there, McKennie should be there, Kenan Yildiz should be there, and I'm happy for that. It will be important to win against them at home comfortably. The problem, guys, is one. That we are playing against a team that is not anymore the PSV that we faced. They are back there in top form. They are first in their ranking of Eredivisie with 49 points. At the moment, one game more than Ajax, but still 4 points different. So they are really leaders of Eredivisie. And we know it, Bakayoko, Schouten, Veerman, on loan from Atletico Madrid, Tillman, Boscagli. We know the players. We already studied them, so we know them. We already commented that game, that it was a really beautiful game. Probably the most beautiful one of Champions League, if you are really speaking about a dominance of Juve. Not the remontada of Leipzig, where we were actually dominated before that fantastic comeback. But if we are really speaking about the top performance in 24-25, we speak about PSV. That a lot of people, even in the beginning of the season, were saying we are a bit fearing PSV. We don't know about that Juventus. Well, I think that question will come back before that game. We don't know about that Juventus. They need to convince against Empoli and Como to give us a bit, again, some confidence, some trust to play that Champions League game. Otherwise, we go again with that big question mark. This time it will be again home and away. Who are the men that we see on the posters? Kenan Yildiz on one side, on the other side, Bakayoko. We know it. We also know the other games of playoffs that will be played. Derby of France, Brest, Paris Saint-Germain, which is good because at least France, they cannot do too many points in this European competition. Bruges, Atalanta, with an Italian team that is coming back to Belgium. The big clash, City against Real, then again Juve against PSV, and then the other games, so teams that we are avoiding until the possible final of Champions League. We'll be about Monaco, Benfica, Sporting, Dortmund, Celtic, Bayern Munich, and Feyenoord against Milan. Do we already know who will be the next opponent? I thought so. No, we don't know because they didn't do the draw. So if we are able to beat PSV, if we are able to qualify, well, it's still or Arsenal or Inter. So after the playoffs, we will know against who we will play. Hopefully, if we win, we can avoid Inter so that we play Arsenal. Guys, I don't want to play against Inter in Champions League. Tomorrow, we don't play. There will be the press conference of Thiago Motta. We play a noon game because we'll play at 12:30 p.m. Italian time against Empoli. We already know that we will play with our third shirt, like we played against Benfica, so we are absolutely not superstitious for that one. We continue to play with a third shirt. What do we know about that? That today Andrea Cambiaso didn't train with the team, and some rumors are telling us that if he's not put officially out of the Mercato, he will also not participate tomorrow, so we'll probably miss all again Andrea Cambiaso against Empoli. At the moment, we are going again towards Wea, Weston McKennie as fullbacks with Koopmeiners that will start again after missing the start against Benfica in the last game. Let's speak about Mercato now. Mercato, you saw it, Jorge Mendes arriving in Casele. Something that honestly I was absolutely not expecting. All the papers are telling us since this morning Kevin Danso, where if you watch the video of this morning, I told you pay attention, because there are still some teams on Kevin Danso, not Rennes anymore, that went for a center back from Marseille, so it's not Rennes anymore, but there are still teams on the player from Lens. So why is he there? Why is he there? I have no idea. I checked, of course, if he was also the agent of other players on top of Francisco Conceição. No, he's not the agent of any other Juventus player. So is he there today on the 31st of January to speak about Conceição? I don't think so. I don't believe so, because the player is on loan until the end of the season. There is time enough to speak about the extension of the clause that Juventus needs to buy, to pay, to actually have the Portuguese player permanently at Juve. So I think that will be later. But why is he there then? So if you are looking, of course, the first that is quoting your eye, it's not Ruben Dias from Manchester City, it's not Barcola from Paris Saint-Germain or Bernardo Silva also from City, it's maybe Antonio Silva, the player from Benfica, 21 years old, that played against us, and we know it was on the target list of Juve. We had a lot of months to actually sign him, or at least one huge month, but also the initial talks started before the month of January. It never went through because Benfica, they said, this is the clause, 100 million euro. You want the player? Pay it. If you don't want the player, we can potentially talk, but for high numbers. Not on a loan like you did for Renato Vega. Forget about it. You want, and it's an obligation to buy with numbers that are between the 40, 45, even some people are saying 50 million euro. We know that with Savona, with Pubalgia, with Kalulu, 40 days out, this is what is predicted. Juventus, they cannot again try to bet or wait, or maybe having Kevin Danso at La Continassa doing the medicals and missing them, failing them like he failed them at Roma. So Juventus needs to go for a secure player that they can go for, maybe even for the future. I don't know. I don't know what is happening there. I have absolutely no idea. Let me know if you think that it's another player from Jorge Mendes, or why is he there. Let me know. I'm really curious, but I would not be surprised if this evening we go back with a live Mercato is Crazy live to speak again about Antonio Silva instead of Kevin Danso. Gianluca Di Marzio is telling us, or is reporting us, the videos, the images of Arthur leaving Juventus. He goes to Girona. It's a done deal on loan there. I already gave you the details, but also seeing him, it's probably the first time of the season that I see Arthur, arrivederci Arthur, who is featured again in the month of June. Gianluca Di Marzio is also telling us about a new player that Juventus is following, Anjorin from Empoli. Guys, I will totally be honest. I have absolutely no idea who this guy is. Yes, it's true. In Serie A, he played already 16 times. He did 3 assists. This is a young player from 23, from the youth academy from Chelsea. I know that he's a center midfielder that can play a bit more defensively, a bit more attacking, but I have no idea who that guy is. But what is really coating my eyes is the fact that Di Marzio is saying he could possibly be the replacement of Nicolo Fagioli. You know it, I told you today could possibly be a decisive day on Nicolo Fagioli, Fiorentina. We are just waiting for Fiorentina to raise that initial offer of 13 million. What will Juventus do? What will Juventus say? Nicolo Fagioli would love to stay at Juve. There are some parts of Juve management that would love to keep him, even if for this season it's extremely difficult. So let's see about the future of Fagioli. But also it depends what Fiorentina is doing. But it's really strange that Juventus would go for another midfielder. Why would they go for another midfielder if you already have a lot? Is it because now McKennie is not anymore a midfielder? Is it because the door is still open to a possible departure of Douglas Luiz? That's a possibility. You know it. Manchester City has been on him. There are diverse clubs of Premier League that are on the player. Juventus always said if we need to choose, Fagioli is not playing, so it's Fagioli to leave because he's giving us a total profit, while Douglas Luiz would be a total failure if after 6 months he's leaving, especially if he's not able to bring us some money. But the door is not closed. Like the door is not closed for Dusan Vlahovic, with some rumors that are saying that Ristic, his agent, is also looking, listening, hearing what is happening around. If a huge offer arrives before the 3rd of February, the door is not closed. With Juventus not even thinking to replace him because they think that it's enough to play with Kolo Muani, Kenan Yildiz, Mangula, Conceição, Wea, Nico Gonzalez. We have enough. And maybe, who knows, maybe one day Milik on top of that. It's okay. We take the risk. We take the risk in case of. It's not over for Cambiaso. I told you today he didn't train. We are still waiting for that official offer from Manchester City. Some people are saying it's over. That offer will never arrive. And this is why Juventus is trying to go for a loan on some players for the defense, because they prefer not to cash out and also not to cash in at the moment with Cambiaso, keeping Cambiaso, especially with the Pupalgia of Nicolo Savona. On the other side, they are saying it's strange that Juventus is really now again looking for some players with an obligation to buy, with a loan. Jorge Mendes here. That means that the money is coming from somewhere. Is it from Douglas Luiz? No, because we would replace him with a young player from Empoli. Is it from Cambiaso? Could be. Is it from Douglas Luiz? We said it. No. Is it maybe from Dusan Vlahovic? Maybe. The money has to come from somewhere. And then I told you, Fagioli, Cambiaso, Douglas Luiz, and Dusan Vlahovic. So pay attention. Not all of them will leave, but something could happen. The 72 next hour until midnight, or let's say 23 hours 59, so 11:59 p.m. of the 3rd of February can be extremely hot. Let me know what you think about it. Grazie, forza. Juve.